Well, it was the story that sparked off the BJP's Love Jihad campaign in Uttar Pradesh. But now the woman at the centre of it all has backtracked. She said that she was not forcibly converted or gang raped as she had earlier claimed, and that she had gone of her own free will with her Muslim boyfriend. The story caused political fireworks then and is doing so again now.
2 months ago, a young woman from a village near Meerut telling us she was gang raped and forced to convert. And now, a dramatic U-turn. She says she fell in love and eloped with a Muslim boy.
पैसे नहीं मिल रहे थे, मेरे साथ मार पिटाई हो रही थी घर में बहुत ज्यादा और जान से मारने तक की साजिश मैंने खुद कुछ सुना था.
It was a case local BJP leaders and Hindutva groups had used to push their campaign of what they call Love Jihad. Not just that, the police arrested 9 people for the alleged gang rape and forced conversion.
It is the opportunity for the lady to put whatsoever she wants to tell. She should tell before the court.
Though the accused will not get any sort of immediate relief because the charge sheet has already been filed in court, their families are hoping that the police does not lose any time in presenting this latest development in front of the judge.
लड़की खाली बयान बदल रही है अब. उसके 64 के बयान कुछ हैं, 61 के बयान कुछ हैं, आज के बयान कुछ हैं, कल के बयान कुछ हैं.
The girl's family though stands by its story.
उन्होंने इसको गला फुसला के दबाव देकर धमका के जैसे भी है अपने अंडर में लेकर उससे बयान दिलवाए साहब.
While their Love Jihad poster girl has recanted, local BJP leaders are skeptical.
जो बेकसूर लोगों को जेल जाना पड़ा उनसे आप माफी मांगना चाहिए.
मेरा क्या मतलब है, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने भेजा है, वो माफी मांगेगी.
दूरी पैदा करना ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एजेंडा है.
Despite the high decibel campaign by the Sangh Parivar, doubts had persisted over the Love Jihad angle given the multiple inconsistencies in the initial story. Now, does her latest statement only further weaken the Love Jihad campaign? With camera person Rajesh Gupta and Tanima Biswas in Meerut, Neha Masi for NDTV.
Well, Gaurav Bhatia of the Samajwadi Party also joins us in this segment. We'll also be joined by Sambit Patra of the BJP shortly. But Shahid Siddiqui, starting with you again. Now, look at what the political scene in UP went through as a result of this case. And now, you know, this girl has recorded a statement in front of a magistrate and said the complete opposite. Do you believe that A, this completely busts the entire Love Jihad campaign that the BJP propagated, and two, that it also exposes the police, because at the end of the day, the UP police arrested people based on what she said. I'm just wondering what they arrested those people based on, just on her word?
Nidhi, the truth about this incident or other incidents, so-called incidents of Love Jihad, will be buried under the politics of hate and short-term gains which parties have tried to gain. It's not accidental that just before the by-elections in Uttar Pradesh, suddenly you were hearing of so many cases from Ranchi, from Meerut, from Muzaffarnagar, elsewhere. What happened to the Ranchi case? There was nothing behind it. Same with this case. And I tell you, in most of these so-called Love Jihad cases are false. They are, most of the cases it is by their consent that they go out, whether it's a Muslim girl or a Hindu girl. These are social problems. That's what we have been saying. But here, I will hold the media equally responsible. Media which jumps the gun, which goes to town with all imaginary stories without really investigating into them. And that's where, you know, things start getting out of hand and politicians exploit the situation. And I'm not blaming NDTV. NDTV was the only channel which didn't do that at the time of the Meerut incident.
I'll just take up that point of the media coverage of this, Mr. Ketkar, because, you know, Mr. Shahid Siddiqui has a point that much of the media, you know, declared this earlier version to be correct. There were, of course, I'm not talking about us now, even some newspapers that did ask questions about the story that was put out then. But, you know, one has to wonder, even with the U-turn now, you know, on what basis did authorities act then? What is the correct version? What is going on here? I think we all have to ask more probing questions of this case, even now.
Actually, I will go along with Shahid's statement that media is also culpable. Media often looks for the TRP or some kind of sensationalism. Media is in the game of upmanship with other television channels or other newspapers, and therefore they also highlight the sensational aspect of it. They don't inquire. They go by the statements made either by the police or by the so-called victim or by the accused person, and therefore media is no less responsible in promoting this. But The main point is the beneficiaries of all these media campaigns or otherwise are the people who are actually interested in communal politics, and the main people who are interested in communal politics are Muslim fundamentalists and Hindu fundamentalists. Both have a stake in promoting this kind of communal cleavage, and that's a very dangerous thing that happens just around the time of elections, and that has happened again.
Okay, so before I get to Gaurav Bhatia and the BJP on this, Abhishek Singhvi, do you believe that then this was all, these were manufactured stories, as the two earlier panelists seem to suggest, that came just before the elections, and now suddenly we're not really hearing about them anymore?
Well, let me start by saying, Nidhi, that the oxymoron nature of this phrase is very ironical. Love on the one hand and jihad, which is struggle, on the other. I think 99.99% cases of this have to be cases where two people fall in love, and how on earth are you going to decipher? How on earth are you going to explain to them that religions are different? And that has been converted by the BJP into a very systematic campaign, especially in UP, to give it a communal color. That's the long and short of it. There are cases. In fact, at one time it is felt that possibly communalism's best end would be to have inter-religious marriages. Well, if individuals belonging to different religion decide to elope and marry, the BJP calls it love jihad. That's the long and short of it. There is absolutely no basis for saying that this is some kind of a campaign, this is some kind of a turbulence running across the length and breadth of India, that you are having a new phenomenon called love jihad. I don't know where this came from. I don't know how it developed so much, but it is clearly something which you really need to compliment the BJP on its innovative, imaginative ideas during election. And they realized after Uttar Pradesh, when this fell flat the second time round recently, that everything has a law of diminishing returns.
So Gaurav Bhatia, the question then can be asked of the Samajwadi Party.
One point.
Yes.
There is only one point. That invariably when the girl is Hindu and the boy is Muslim, which actually has been the subject of hundreds of Bollywood films, only when the girl is Hindu, love jihad is used. And otherwise it is not used. And therefore it is completely communal, and BJP converts that into that kind of communalism.
Okay, I'll get the BJP to respond, but Gaurav Bhatia, the SP government and the police in UP certainly have questions to answer as well. I mean, if this girl indeed, her story doesn't check out today and she has backtracked, then based on what she said earlier, there were people arrested for an alleged gang rape. So what were they arrested for? What is the evidence that backed that up? This really exposes the police and the investigations as well. And therefore, there are some today who've demanded that this should be probed maybe by another agency, maybe by the CBI. Is the UP government ready for that?
Nidhi, I think you are asking the wrong question and to the wrong person. But I'll still tell you that after investigation, on the basis of the material that was available, a charge sheet was prepared by the state police, and in fact it supported the version of the BJP regarding cheating a victim. But then we did fair investigation, keeping in mind the facts and the evidence that was on record at that time. That itself shows that we were not being influenced by any political color or party for that matter. But the larger question is, I remember how the Samajwadi Party and the state government was saying that crime and criminals should not be communalized, which the BJP was doing in UP for political gains. This Meerut incident was an incident where a crime was committed by a person against a girl. It could happen to another community also. But the BJP tried their best, and their senior leaders, their star campaigner, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, was giving speeches saying that love jihad is being committed by persons of minority community. Mr. Lakshmikant Bajpai, a senior leader from the state unit who is the president, said the same thing. And at that time, Samajwadi Party clearly said that please don't communalize the election, don't give religious color to crime. I think today by this statement, which needs to be investigated, one thing is clear, that there was a political hand in tutoring, in forcing somebody to make a statement which might not be entirely correct. And this would be investigated by the state police as it was earlier investigated.
But why should it be? Shouldn't it be somebody else? I mean, Gaurav, it's just a common sense question. My point is that based on whatever they knew earlier, they made arrests. I mean, how are we to believe that the police can conduct this probe properly? Let it be another agency.
Nidhi, that is, let me tell you, Supreme Court has laid down guidelines when there should be a CBI investigation. I think on the basis of the material that was available, there was a fair investigation done by the state police. A new facts come into the picture. You can't say that the probe that took place earlier was biased or was not fair. These new facts would also be taken into consideration, and if required, a supplementary charge sheet would be filed. In fact,
I'm just saying that there were people arrested for a gang rape that apparently didn't happen, and that's a little disconcerting.
No, that is not correct. Let me tell you, Nidhi, that the gang rape theory has been rejected even in the charge sheet by the investigation on the basis of the material which was available. But there is a charge sheet which says that there was rape, and one person has been charged for that. And there are other sections like 295A and 153A of hurting religious sentiments which have also been invoked.
Which were linked to the alleged forced conversion at the time. Let me get Sambit Patra then. That Mr. Patra, would the BJP then concede?
These will have to be considered now.
So Sambit Patra, would the BJP then concede today that an issue that your party made, in a sense the centerpiece of your UP campaign today, has fallen flat on its face?
Nidhi, I would say BJP very intelligently will not fall into the silly trap which has been laid just before 2 days of two major elections in two major states of the country. When Maharashtra and Haryana go for elections on 15th of this month, and where the mantra of the election is love development. We all have to fall in love with development. There is no other alternative, and the way of falling in love with development is by Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs and Christians have to come together to see to it that Maharashtra and Haryana develops and moves ahead. Then we talk of love jihad, which is a bygone matter and which was never an important issue as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned.
Who was spewing venom in UP?
I was not interfering with any of the panelists.
Mr. Patra, what is your point?
Was I interfering with any of the panelists?
What is your point, Mr. Patra? What are you saying, that the opposition is, or are you saying there's some conspiracy to communalize the Maharashtra elections? Yogi Adityanath was your star campaigner in UP. He made this an issue.
I have my entitlements. I can make my point, and I see that having lost all other grounds, today the opposition parties coming together, trying to raise these two words, Hindus and Muslims, and trying to divide the community of this country. When Bharatiya Janata Party is vying for development, when Bharatiya Janata
Party
Patra,
who raised the issue of love jihad in the campaign in UP?
I think he's not answering
who raised it.
You were asking, and he's just deflecting from the main issue.
Love jihad. Show me a resolution by Bharatiya Janata Party where
was
we talk
Yogi
of love jihad.
Is he not a member of your party?
No,
he's not a member of parliament. He was not heading your campaign.
Parliament, but we have always meant at the centre. We have always mentioned this, that our only agenda is development. We do not stand by any kind of communal agenda.
Just look at the leaders.
One second. Let him answer. Let him answer.
Can I?
1 second. Sambit, I mean, I don't understand this. Are you disowning your own leaders from Uttar Pradesh who made love jihad such a big campaign issue?
No one is disowning them. We are only reiterating what Prime Minister of this country has stated, that this country should move ahead with development. Nowhere in our resolution love jihad is mentioned. A line or two by local
are you
leaders.
distancing yourself?
So
are you distancing? Are you saying that you disapprove of the statements that Yogi Adityanath made on the campaign trail?
I am very emphatically stating that a line or two by local leaders in local bipole elections should not be taken with the kind of seriousness that we are discussing it today.
It's
a law and order situation.
That is not a line or two.
Look after it.